Well, today's payrolls report is validating fears that the U.S. labor market may be on the brink of a downturn. Despite the weak numbers, though, new data from Upwork shows that the freelance economy is still thriving, especially when it comes to AI-augmented roles. Joining us now to discuss is Dr. Kelly Monahan. She is managing director at Upwork Research Institute, where she leads research on remote workforce strategies. Great to have you with us. So give us the optimistic take on what we're seeing when it comes to AI and the impact that it's having on the labor market.
Totally. I think today what we're seeing, obviously, with today's jobs report is a bit of a softening, right, and contraction that's happening in the full-time labor markets. And in fact, our data shows when we went to the beginning of the year, 55% of company leaders were actually preparing for a low to no growth environment. And during these times, what is most important is being able to create agility. And we know today there's so much pressure to get this AI moment right. And so what we see happening to our platform is both large businesses as well as small and medium-sized businesses are coming to get specialized AI talent. In fact, we saw a 41% surge in AI and machine learning jobs this past month on our platform.
That's really interesting. So talk to us a little bit more. It sounds like you're saying that this cuts across all size tiers, but is it particularly pronounced, for example, when it comes to a small business versus a large business and what exactly they want to see in terms of AI skills?
Right now, the demand is pretty balanced, and the demand shows up in two different ways, less so by business size, but more of the type of AI skills that are needed. The number one skills that people are coming to Upwork for, whether a small business or a large business, is machine learning, Python coding skills, really being able to build and operate AI within a larger system. But the second thing that we see emerging, which I actually think is pretty exciting, is we see fact checking and really keeping humans back in the loop. And so I think a lot of organizations went and installed AI systems, tried to play around with AI content, and what we see actually happening is that humans need to remain in the loop. And we know even the best AI models out there, right, are going to be about correct 90% of the time. And so bringing those humans back in to really evaluate and fact check the output is beginning to grow in great demand on our platform today.
I am, though, curious, Kelly, when we talk about this idea of demand for these workers, I mean, we've heard from a lot of these companies that have been doing the hiring about how their own use internally of AI, to a certain degree, will actually reduce the need for some of those workers. And I mean that even within sort of the coding and AI space. So I am curious as to where that balance is, at least as you're seeing it through the sort of the lens of freelance.
Absolutely. So it's funny, there's some other data that came out this week, too, that showed the reasons for layoffs. 0% of the layoffs that occurred in August were attributed to AI or technology. And so I still think that's years down the road. And when we actually fully trust AI agents, and the question is, again, as a business leader, where are you going to trust AI to fully execute? I think in most cases, we're still going to want that human in the loop to make that final judgment and decision maker. And so I think the reality is today, there's a lot of pressure to get the balance sheets right, to maintain costs. And I actually think what's going to be most important today, we're in a low to no growth environment. I think that's pretty clear.
Yeah.
And so the reality is many organizations are trying to continue to find external growth.
Yeah.
What I actually think is needed is internal innovation. How do you source that talent? How do you actually think about building more agility into your talent models? Yeah. I actually think we're at the structural shift where leaders need to play by a different talent playbook.
Before we go, I do want to get your thoughts, though, also just about, I mean, the whole nature of your platform, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's a lot of creators out there. And when we talk about AI itself, there's been a certain threat or a perception of a threat to that creator economy. The idea that if you can get AI or some type of automated technology to create that stuff, you don't necessarily need the human beings there. Just earlier today, Anthropic had to settle a suit with regards to some content creators, authors who raised copyright claims. How is that being addressed right now on the platform?
Yeah, Romain, it's just an interesting point you raise. We actually see the content creator economy really beginning to grow. 15% of all U.S. jobs posted today on our platform are coming from small to medium-sized businesses that need content creation, website design, social media strategy, that sort of thing. And that is actually the area that I'm most bullish for AI augmentation. On our platform, what we see is actually 2 times the amount of AI skills required to do content creation today. So my point of view and just what I'm seeing today on the platform is that those jobs are actually evolving, not being substituted by AI. And again, I think we all live in an environment where we can tell where AI generated content is occurring.
Yeah.
And I think what we're actually seeing is a return back to, hey, let's make this not look so AI today.
All right, we have to leave it there, Kelly. Really appreciate you taking time for us. Dr. Kelly Monahan, Managing Director over at the Upwork Research Institute. Now, when we come back, we're going to talk about the uptick in deal making, specifically in Hollywood. But I want to turn your attention to Washington as we go to break. The President of the United